Okay guys, you requested it and I'm going to deliver on your request. Today we are going to shoot out the new Peavey 6505-2 against the almighty EVH Stealth. Let's get started. All right, I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible for you. I know people like shorter videos that get right to the point, so we're going to do that. I'm not going to shoot out the clean channels because it's just too much work dialing all that stuff in and then resetting all the volumes for the high gain stuff. So I'm just going to leave that out. Let's just assume both clean channels are pretty freaking good. Both are usable on both amplifiers, so I don't think you're going to have a problem with either clean channel on these amplifiers. Let's get to the high gain stuff. So we're going to start out with the 6505-2 on the crunch mode of channel 1, and I'm actually going to shoot it out against two different channels on the EVH Stealth. I'm going to start off shooting it out against the green channel in the classic rock mode, you know, with the gain cranked all the way up on the EVH Stealth. And I have a camera on the Stealth, and I'll be moving it around depending on which section of the amplifier I'm going to be utilizing at the time. But here is a picture of the settings that I have on the 6505-2. Those settings will not change. I think these are the best settings that this amplifier could ever have. I spent even more time on it today dialing it in and making sure that it has every chance that it can to go up against the EVH Stealth and you know, have a fair fight with it. So make sure you refer back to those settings anytime you're questioning anything. What I ended up doing today was just cranking up the presence a little bit more for the crunch mode on channel 1 on the 6505-2, because when I compared it to the Stealth, it just was lacking a little bit of that top end. And again, to be fair, I wanted to make sure I gave it every opportunity to have a fair fight with the Stealth. So we're going to go ahead and start out with those two channels right now. The overdrive I'll be using today is going to be the Grid Slammer by Mesa. So I'll be using that today, but it's off right now. So I'm going to compare them. Each channel I'm going to compare with the boost off and then on, so we can, you know, see how they sound there. So let's go ahead and start now. Again, crunch mode on the 6505-2. And the green channel in the high gain mode on the EVH Stealth. Also, when you see a picture of the Stealth on the screen, that means I'm playing that. When you don't see it, that means I'm playing the 6505-2. All right, so let's get started. All right, so without the overdrive, I think they are very, very similar. With the 6505-2, I think it's just a hair less tight, but I mean, it could be settings, it could be anything. So let's go ahead and engage the boost and compare them now. All right, so it's very, very close between these two amplifiers on these channels right now. So I think it's kind of negligible. I mean, I think the Stealth is slightly tighter, but I honestly think it's negligible. As soon as you engage the boost, I mean, both channels are pretty equal as far as, you know, how much aggression, texture, the tone, the feel. I mean, pretty much all of it is pretty much the same. Both are great classic rock channels, and I think a lot of people who play that genre of music will really love either one. So let me just do a quick classic rock riff on both of these channels, and we'll move on to the next segment of this video. Yeah, very close regarding tone and feel, like I said earlier, so I don't want to waste too much time on this particular section of the shootout. But yeah, I think so far, you know, if those are, you know, who are concerned about, you know, whether this amp stacks up against the Stealth, so far I would call it a pretty much, you know, photo finish between them two. And, you know, any of the small differences between them are pretty much up to you to decide on which one, you know, you like better. So now let's go ahead and compare the EVH Stealth blue channel, which is really their crunch channel or maybe their high gain rhythm channel or whatever, against the green channel in crunch mode on the 65052, and just see how they compare. And then I will also compare the red channel, which is a high gain channel, on the 65052 against both the blue and the red channels on the Stealth, with and without the overdrive. So let's turn off the boost now and start with this comparison. All right, so here's the settings on the blue channel on the EVH Stealth. Here's the gain, got it around 3 o'clock. I have the gain cranked on the 65052, and then here's the EQ right here. And then I have the resonance, or I mean the presence at 3 o'clock, where I have it a little bit higher on the 65052. I have it pretty much almost all the way up. So let's go ahead and shoot these out now. All right, so there's a really big difference between these two channels I'm noticing right away. The Stealth has a lot more aggression, texture, and it also has more gain, you know, even though the gain is set lower. It's more brutal, that's for sure. It's a lot tighter as well, a lot tighter. I mean, you could really hear the flubbiness on the 65052 when compared to the Stealth in these channels here. The Stealth is definitely tighter, more aggressive, has a better feel and response to it. I still think the 6505 Plus sounds really good. It just depends on what you like. Now, you know, everybody knows that a good overdrive pedal is, you know, the great equalizer. So let's see if when the boost is engaged, you know, it helps the 65052 catch up to the Stealth. It's still not even close. I mean, it definitely helped the 65052 green channel, but it still isn't close. The Stealth has, I mean, if they were this much different without the overdrive, they're this much different with it. You know, the Stealth got even more angry, more aggressive, and more of all the stuff, at least that I look for in a good crunch rhythm, like nasty, you know, heavy metal tone. You know, that's kind of what I look for. So now to, you know, try to even be more fair, let's go ahead and switch the 65052 into the red channel. And I think last night when I did the demo on this amplifier, I think I nailed the best tone that I could in the red channel. I haven't touched it since. I think it's about as good as you can get it. Again, refer back to the picture, and I just think it sounds incredible like that. So let's see how they compare first without the overdrive, and then with on these two channels. Again, I'm on the blue channel on the Stealth, and here are the settings. And I'm on the red channel on the 65052, and let's see how they compare now. Again, the overdrive pedal is off. Okay, so the blue channel on the EVH Stealth had more texture, more aggression. It was definitely tighter than the red channel on the 6505 2. So I think the Stealth is still pulling ahead of the 6505 2 in that regard. I mean, the Stealth is just the most aggressive, brutal, nasty, angry amp that I've ever played anyways. I mean, that amp is just pure fire, you know, it's ridiculously aggressive. So it's really hard for any amp to keep up with it. I'm starting to hear the more classic rock vibe, especially when I'm comparing these two in the 6505 2. Still sounds great, but when you compare it to a truly modern beast that's super aggressive, then you start, you know, hearing the differences and go, yeah, this is definitely leaning a little bit more in the classic rock territory than the Stealth is. I mean, the Stealth will get there on the green channel when you got the gain cranked all the way up, but as soon as you get out of that mode in the Stealth, you're into just a full onslaught of guitar Armageddon, you know, from the blue channel to the red channel. It's just fire. It's just all it is. I mean, it's amazing. So now let's engage the overdrive, all right, and see if that evens these two channels out. Yeah, the Stealth, even with the overdrive, it's still, it definitely made the 6505 2 sound much better, and I prefer it with an overdrive anyways. That's pretty much, I boost all my amps, you guys know that. So it definitely helped it out, but I still think that the Stealth is angrier, nastier, tighter, more aggressive, and just had a better response to it. Definitely has more texture and more of an edge to it. You know, there's a difference, and I hope that the YouTube compression doesn't hide that from you guys. In the room here, I'm definitely feeling it. Does that mean that I think that the 6505 Plus doesn't sound good? No, I still think it sounds really good. It sounds great. But I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing in the room here. Now, keep in mind, too, that the Stealth is also, I think, about $1,000 more. So it better sound better, or it better be more brutal, or it better be more of what you guys are looking for in a high-gain amplifier. Now, if you prefer the classic rock stuff, again, this definitely, the 6505 2 is definitely more in that territory. Man, I still think it sounds really good. I really do. I stand by my statements from last night. I think it sounds awesome. So now let me do this. I'm going to mess with the 6505 and try to get it to sound as close to the blue channel on the Stealth as I can. I'll just turn the knobs a little bit. I already have the camera on the Stealth, so I'm not going to move it. But I'll tell you what I did, and we'll see if we can come up with a closer sound between these two amplifiers in these channels. Yeah, that definitely sounds nastier. I just bumped the presence and the treble up just a hair. So now let's see how they compare. That got it quite a bit closer. It's amazing what this presence knob will do on the 6505 2. Every teeny little bit of incremental, you know, movement on that thing definitely makes a difference, especially when you get past 3 o'clock. Up to 3 o'clock, it really doesn't do much, but past 3 o'clock, just move it ever so slightly. And when you're trying to find that you know, that secret sauce, you know. I mean, you just move it a little bit at a time. Don't crank it. Just take your finger and put it over it. Just nudge it here and there until you find the spot. And I literally did that. I just nudged it, and that was like, there it is. Now, do they sound exactly the same? Maybe on YouTube with the compression they do, but there's still a difference between them. I will say that the Stealth just sounds still bigger, fuller, a little more angry, a little more modern than the 6505 does, but it is damn close right now. I mean, would I say it's negligible between the two? Maybe on YouTube with the compression it is, but in the room I can still feel and hear a difference between them. That would still make me lean. Again, I'm a modern, you know, guitar player. I like modern metal tones. So I'm hearing a difference on the Stealth that would make me lean a little bit more towards that, but I would still walk out of the store going, but damn, that 6505 too sounded amazing, you know? I mean, it would be on my mind, you know, it definitely sounds amazing. And like I said, you're saving, so right now you're saving $1,000 by getting the 6505. So if you really love the Stealth and you think the Blue Channel is like your jam, but you can't afford the Stealth, I'm telling you, the 6505 too would be a good replacement for that, for people who just don't want to shell out the extra $1,000, you know, for the Stealth. And I think you can, you know, play this with pride and know that this thing sounds really freaking good. Again, this is the red channel, or channel 2 on the 6505 2, compared to the blue channel on the Stealth. And I got the gain at noon on the red channel here on the 6505, and I got it around 3 o'clock on the Stealth. You know what, just for giggles, just let me put the gain, let me switch cameras so no one thinks I'm pulling a fast one here. Let me put the gain at noon on both amps and just see how they compare. Okay, the Stealth was still more aggressive, even with the gain set the same. You know, and again, I'm comparing the, you know, like the rhythm channel on the Stealth to the lead channel on the 6505 too. So I think all things considered, the Stealth is still, as far as in the brutality department, the Stealth is still beating the 6505 2, but the 6505 2 is definitely having a respectable showing here. I mean, it's getting its punches in too. This is a really good shootout so far. Now, let's turn off the overdrive pedal, and this is where things are going to really get interesting, because the red channel on the Stealth, in my opinion, is unbeatable regarding brutality. It just is. It's just such a great channel. I mean, I have never played an amp that beats that channel with, you know, in the brutality department. It's just so freaking nasty. So what I'm going to do is start out with the overdrive off. I'm going to switch to the red channel on the Stealth. And here are the settings, as you can see. And as you guys know, there's an Easter egg, you know. So the gain on the blue channel greatly affects the gain structure and how tight and aggressive the red channel is. So I'll just put the gain at noon. I'll keep it at noon just to kind of give it almost a neutral position. But I'm going to make some changes on this knob a little later and show you the secret weapons that lie within the red channel of the Stealth. That's where that amplifier really kicks a lot of ass and can pretty much defeat anybody regarding, you know, brutality. So with those settings, with the overdrive off, let's compare how these amps sound now. right, so with tone and texture, I still have to give it to the Stealth. The red channel, it's just money, man. If you're looking for the most brutal channel out there, it's the EVH Stealth. You know, it just really is. In comparison to the Stealth, there's definitely a softer top end on the 6505 too, even though I think this version of the 6505 is the most aggressive I've ever played anyways. But in comparison to the Stealth red channel, you can still hear that softer top end when you shoot them out side by side. I mean, it's undeniable. There's more aggressive texture in the Stealth. It's a little more responsive. It's definitely tighter. Definitely tighter. I sound like Rain Man. Definitely tighter. Definitely tighter. Wagner's on at 4. Yeah, I think that there's a definite difference between these two without the overdrive pedal, even more than with the blue channel compared to the red channel on here, because yeah, it's just ridiculous how much texture and aggression there is in the red channel and the Stealth. So now let me do this. I'm going to use some of the Stealth's secret weapons, all right, and you're going to see how this amp really starts pulling ahead of the 6505 too in this comparison, because I'm going to show you what that Easter egg does. I'm going to play while I'm adjusting the gain on the blue channel while I'm on the red channel and show you how it really tightens up and makes the red channel even more aggressive. And this is why Eddie never used an overdrive pedal with this amp, because he didn't need to. There's one pretty much built in. So let's go ahead and dial that in now, and then I'll shoot them out after I find the sweet spot. I mean, it's almost not even fair at this point. Yeah, that trick and that amplifier really makes a huge difference. And on a side note, if you use that trick and you still like, you know, having your own overdrive pedal, what you do is you lower the gain down on the blue channel while you're in the red channel. Click on your boost and adjust the gain on the blue channel accordingly. And with both of those kind of combined, really shaping and sculpting your tone, you can really personalize things for yourself and have a lot more control over how much aggression, how much texture, how much angriness the amplifier has, and how it feels and responds. And that's such a great tool in that amplifier. So, you know, depending on your taste, you may or may not want to use an overdrive pedal. I love overdrive pedals. I like having total control over all that, but with that Easter egg in that amplifier, or with that feature, I combine the two, and I'll bring the gain way down on the blue channel while I'm in the red channel when I'm boosting it, and then I'll bring it up, I'll fine tune it. Usually my sweet spot's anywhere between 10 and 12 o'clock, depending on what boost pedal I'm using. And man, you can really fine tune everything and make it even better. So again, the boost pedal's off, and here are the settings. As you can see, I cranked the gain all the way up. That's how Eddie did it. He had the gain all the way up on the blue channel. He was a red channel guy. And then I just nudged the gain a hair on the red channel. But everything else I left the same, and it just got really nasty and a lot more responsive. So now let's compare them, see how they sound with that setting. And again, the overdrive's off. not even close. Now at this point, you know, I think that the Stealth pretty much hit the nitrous switch, and it's just pulling away easily, you know, with that feature. I mean, that feature right there, along with the fact that you can have, you know, the channels all separately dialed in, and you know, have the separate, you know, EQs on each channel, the separate resonance and presence knobs for each channel, you know, really it makes this amplifier worth every penny. I mean, it really does. You could do anything with this amp. You like classic rock, crank the green channel all the way up, and you got classic rock all day long, especially if you boost it. I mean, it just sounds and feels amazing. But if you want a great clean channel, and then you want an awesome rhythm channel and an amazing lead channel, this amp will do that for you. Or if you're a one-channel guy, which a lot of you guys that are probably watching are a one-channel guy, and you just want hellfire and brimstone coming out of your amplifier, this is your amp. I mean, it really is. You just freaking, if you want to use an overdrive or you don't want to use one, either way it works for you. I mean, it's just insane how versatile this amplifier is and how brutal it is. It really is. So now let's boost. You know what? Let's do something fun. Let's go ahead and boost the 6505. All right. So I'm going to boost that, but not boost the red channel on the Stealth, and just see what happens. What the hell? Let's try that. And then after that, we'll boost both amps and see how they sound then. Let me do that again. I'm going to do it in reverse now just to see. I'm going to start with the EVH this time. All right, so truthfully, in that particular shootout, red channel on the 6505-2 boosted against the red channel on the Stealth, not boosted, but using that Easter egg that's in there. I preferred playing the 6505. I felt like it was responsive in the way that I like it, and I liked the overall tone a little better, basically because I just love boost pedals. I like what they do. I like how they sculpt your tone and how they make the amp respond. And I still think the Stealth sounded ridiculous. As far as aggression goes and everything, the Stealth kept right up with it for the most part. But I can still hear a little more of what I like out of the amplifier when I boosted the 6505-2 in comparison to not boosting the red channel, utilizing the Easter egg on the Stealth. Depending on your taste, you'll disagree or agree with me. But now let's go ahead and see how they both sound boosted. Now, to be fair, I have to take the gain on the blue channel in the Stealth down a little bit and adjust it accordingly with the boost. Otherwise, it gets way out of control. So I'll cue you in on that. You can watch me do that right now, and then I'll shoot them out afterwards. What an unruly freaking beast. Dude, that's freaking insane. So I moved the knob around a little bit just to show you, you know, how it does affect things. So this is typically not my sweet spot. It's usually up here about 11 o'clock. But since I'm using a different pedal than usual, I'm using the Grid Slammer, and I have the tone knob cranked on it because that's how it sounds best with the 6505 too. So to attenuate for that, I just took the gain down, because when I had it up here, you probably heard that extra, you know, kind of aggressiveness on top. It was a little too much, so I just brought it down. It was kind of too snarly up there, and as soon as I brought it down to here, it smoothed it out and made it a lot less raspy. And I could probably take the highs down a hair too now that I have the boost engaged and the tone knob cranked, which is not something I usually do. Oh, I'm on the wrong channel. This amp's so freaking big. It's easy to get. You almost need a map to get across the damn thing, a GPS system. Okay, so I think I'm ready here to shoot these two out in this mode. Once again, red channel on the 6505. Red channel on the Stealth. Both of them are boosted. I adjusted the Stealth accordingly to make sure that it sounded best with the boost. So here we go. Okay, so definitely a little bit more even, but still the Stealth is more aggressive. I mean, it's undeniable. It just is. In fact, let me adjust the Stealth a little bit more, okay? I think it was a little too gainy when I was comparing them, so let me adjust the gain a little bit on it, make a few other adjustments so I can have a fair comparison here. You're kind of seeing behind the scenes stuff, but I'm going to leave this stuff in the video because I want to show you the lengths I go to make sure I'm as fair as I can be in these comparisons. Okay, made a few minor tweaks. Turned the gain down a little bit, little of the lows down, and I took the gain on the red channel down a hair and the blue channel down a hair and smoothed it out a little bit more. So now let's do that same riff again between them, and this time I will start with, let's start with the 6505 2 this time. So let's switch to that. Here we go. Dude, that was freaking close. I mean, the settings I had in the previous little riff off, definitely the stealth was more aggressive and just absolutely ridiculous. And then I tamed it a little bit, and now they're a little more even. Man, in these settings, with everything the way it is, with the overdrive and everything, man, I'm telling you, it's pretty close. I still think the stealth is a little more aggressive and meaner and angrier and fuller sounding, but I'm telling you, man, the 6505-2 really put up a good fight. I mean, they're both walking out of the ring with some bumps and bruises, man, big time. Great shootout. I think they both sound amazing, and I'm glad I did the extra work on evening things out and, you know, showing you what I do behind the scenes here and just letting that be in the video too, because I do go to great lengths to make sure that these fights and these shootouts are as fair as possible, because my goal here is to make sure that you know, get the information that you need to make the best decision that works for you. I don't care which amplifier wins. To me, I just want to show them both in their best light and let you make the decision, because really the winner in all of my videos should be you. You should be the winner. You should walk away going, I got exactly what I wanted. He shot him out the way I wanted him to. He even went the extra mile. You know what I mean? I want you guys to have that feeling when you watch my videos where no stone was left unturned, you know? And sometimes it adds length to my videos, but I don't do it just to have a long video. I mean, in my opinion, there's no arbitrary things that I do in my videos. And I know that sounds a little egotistical, but it's not. I don't do arbitrary stuff. I've cut stuff like that out in the past, but I feel like when I'm going to do stuff like this in a video, there's a reason for it. I'm not just dinking around here, you know. So hopefully you got the information that you were looking for, and I really appreciate you watching. Please share this in some groups too. I really appreciate that as well. Well, thanks again, Motor City, for allowing me to take the 6505-2 home. I really appreciate them letting me do that. There is an affiliate link in the description, so if you like what you heard and you want to get this amplifier, feel free to click that link and order it for yourself. You'll help yourself by getting the amplifier that you want. You'll help the store because they're an awesome store, and then you'll help me as well and keep the lights on here, literally. I mean, I got a whole bunch of lights in this room that I got to pay for. So thanks to all my subscribers and Patreon supporters. I really appreciate you guys. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you saw here today, feel free to subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with a new episode. Well, I got more stuff coming up for you guys, and I can't wait to show it to you. I will see you on the next episode.